Introducing ducks together has been quite interesting so far. So you can see that these two and this one are my older females. They're approaching a year old now. That is, which one are you? You're Nibbler. That's Nibbler, Griffin and Achilles. And these two, you might notice, are a little bit smaller and a little bit different. And that is because these two are actually this one's babies. So this one lays blue eggs, Achilles, she lays blue eggs, and I decided that I wanted some more blue egg layers, so I hatched out a few of her eggs. One of them sadly didn't make it. It seems to be always the case with ducks. I say always the case. I've done 3 hatches of duck eggs so far, and every single time I've had one get all the way up to ready to hatch and then just give up, and it's so sad. And every single one of my 3 hatches has had that. I just find it so sad. But I'm very lucky and very happy that I've got 2 lovely babies that are now, they are 6.5-ish weeks old. So they're huge for 6.5 weeks actually. They're probably about half the size of the adults by weight, I'd say. But you can see that they're only sort of just being tolerated by the older females. Introducing ducks is interesting. Now, I've done it with quail before. You can see my quailery in the back there with the chicken wanting to come out because it's starting to get dark and she wants to go to bed. So I open the door and she wanders all the way down and actually lives inside at night. Just because she's a silky and she's a softie and I'm a softie, and when you get 2 softies, not much gets done. Anyway, so with the quail, what I usually do is I have a dog cage that I put in with some food and water, and I put it inside the pen with the new quail inside the pen so that everyone can see them. And then 2 weeks later you let them out and no one gives a shit, and they accept them quite happily. It's not quite the same with ducks. Ducks, they don't seem to just want to see each other and get used to each other that way. They've got to interact. And every time I've, after a little while of them seeing each other, tried to let them interact, my male, Fiver, has just chased these guys around and been quite not very happy with their presence. So you may actually notice that Fiver is not around. That is because currently Fiver is in prison. So I had a quick look online, and one of the recommendations was, when you're introducing new ducks, is to take the male and separate them from the females and let the females get used to the new ones, and then once that's all fine and dandy, then you can put the male back in with the females. So it means at the moment the Fiver's not particularly happy because he can't get close to his ladies and can't have some nice ducky lady time. Which is very much a shame for him, but probably a nice break for the girls, to be honest. What I have been doing, you can see I've got a bit of dross around, is what I have been doing is making it, barricading this off, like putting a pot or watering can on the side so that these guys could get out of the pond but couldn't get onto this section of garden. And I've put a net across here so that these guys were down here with a little tub and you know, room of their own to do what they want to, and a net screening them off so they couldn't get at each other but they could see each other. And I did that for about a week, maybe a little bit longer. And now what I've done is I've removed the net so that they can see each other, they can get at each other. Occasionally they will be in the pond together and pretty much be ignoring each other. Sometimes they get chased a bit, but actually for the most part it's been quite peaceful, so I'm quite happy. So I think what we'll probably be doing is doing that for another week, maybe 2, Once we get to the point where they are completely ignoring each other or eating side by side, I think then we can chance letting poor Fiver out. But in the meantime, he'll have to stay in here and just make do with his little bachelor pad. Now, at night, I don't want to put these guys in with those two at the moment, unsupervised, because particularly in a much smaller area, because out and about, these guys can get away from the others and they can sort of have their own space. But if I was to put them all in that pen, which they only have in overnight, there wouldn't be very much room, and they couldn't get away if these wanted to have a go at them, which isn't terribly fair at the moment. What are you doing? So what I'm doing at the moment is putting them back in their house, bringing these guys back into the house, and... Hello, I'm outside! Putting these guys back in the house. At the moment, they're in the bathtub because they're too big for anything else, for an enclosure, and they make so much mess that the bath, frankly, is the best place for it because it's hosed down, and that's just their nighttime home. So they sleep in the bath, which is not great, but it's better than nothing. I just put a towel down so it's nice and snuggly for them. It does mean that when I want to shower, I'm going to have to turf them out or shower with a pair of ducks, which isn't ideal. So that's what we're living with at the moment. And of course, once these guys are back in with them, it'll be time for the others to graduate to a larger pen. So it's going to be good fun. It's going to be good fun. In the end, what I'm hoping for is 6 females and 2 males that are quite happy with each other. So I'm hoping at least one of these is female, and I'm hoping that some of the ones obviously that I've hatched out just now are female as well. It's all right. They're very shy. They've been hand-reared and hand-fed and hand-treated, and you see all this green around basically means that they've had lots of greenery to eat. But they are still, ducks are not tame birds. Are you coming out, Iffy? Come out, Iftikar. Come on. This, I swear, this is a cat, not a chicken. She paces up and down. I want to get out. I want to get out. Open the door. I want to get out. And then when you open the door, she stands in the doorway and goes, yeah, I'm not sure whether I want to get out or not actually now. And tries to decide. And sometimes she'll hop back in again. And sometimes she'll hop out. And particularly when it's cold and I'm only wearing a t-shirt, it's not great to be stood around waiting for the idiot to come out. Oh, you've deigned to leave. Okay. Right. I'll lock the quail up in a bit. There we go. They've been very much rained on, which is why they now have their roof on, finally. They've been a bit of a quagmire. Right. You're going to peck around for a bit before you go to bed. Okay. Fine. Hello. Much fun. You're a pain in the bum, you know that, chicken. Don't eat that, that's string. Anyway, fingers crossed for these guys. I'll let you know how I get on.